there, this is Denise with Modern Priscilla Tarot. Welcome back to my channel. So excited that you're here because today we are going to be answering yes or no questions. So think of your question, a question that has a yes or a no answer, and we're going to take a look and we're going to get some advice for you. All right, I have 3 decks spread out here today. I have the Anna K Tarot, I have the Crow Tarot, and I have the Chakra Wisdom Tarot. Each deck has a stone. This deck has a rose quartz. Beautiful. Cool shape, too. This deck, the Crow Tarot, has a piece of lapis. And the Chakra Wisdom has a piece of fluorite. Isn't that cool? All right, friends. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to live shuffle, and then I will be setting out 3 piles, for which then I will invite you to select your pile. I will put timestamps in the description. That way, you'll be able to fast forward easily. Now, that being said, let's get started. Okay, here we are. So we have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is think of your yes or a no question. Clear your mind. See where your attention is drawn. And select your pile. If you need extra time, please feel free to pause the video. Otherwise, let's get started. Pile number 1. All right, pile 1. Let's find out the answer to your question. Is it a yes or a no? Let's find out. Let's find out. All right, so here, this is my energy card. So this is the strongest energy that the tarot is picking up on regarding your question, and it will influence the rest of our cards. So what have we got? We've got our 5 of rods. Now, rods is the suit of wands, and our 5 is talking about somebody who's kind of being a little bit inexperienced. Maybe the situation is in its early stages. I'm not sure what your question is, of course. So you're going to have to kind of pick the pieces that fit your scenario. This is an inexperienced card. Well, it's a card that represents inexperience. It's also a card that represents practice and working towards something. So whatever your question is, this is seeming to be something that is in its early stages, or you're still kind of working toward it, that kind of a thing. All right. So let's find out what else we've got. All right. Well, you're probably feeling pretty good about it. I mean, I know you're asking yes or a no, which means you obviously don't have a good feeling whether it's yes or no. You know, otherwise you wouldn't even be asking. The Queen of Rods is a very powerful card. This pops up typically when somebody's feeling pretty good. And notice the sun and the bright yellow colors. That's about optimism, hope, things like that. So this tells me that you are likely expecting a yes. You are expecting a very positive result. However, it's a little bit too early to be that confident. There is still work that needs to be done. We've got our 6 of Swords. The 6 of Swords talks about moving. Now, remember, cards are all about symbolism and the artwork, right? So here they're trying to get over here to this other shore. They're going, now clearly they'd be going pretty slow and with using just this staff or whatever it is. And she's carrying all these swords with her. Well, this implies that, you know, we're carrying a lot of thoughts. We're carrying possibly some baggage going forward. This is also a card that indicates the need for support. Notice she's driving the boat, right? And here this guy or girl is sitting there letting her drive the boat and carry the wands. This is talking that you might need some extra help here for the yes or a no question. Now, again, I don't know what your question is, if it applies to romance, if it applies to work, if it, you know, I don't know what area of life it would apply to, but this is very much saying, don't carry your baggage with you. You might need a friend to help you, and you might need somebody to support you through your situation, whatever this question is about. Here, we have some advice for you. This is the Knight of Swords, and this is a card that talks about jumping in too excitedly, you know, like not thinking about the consequences and just jumping on in. So this is here to remind you to think about it. You want to get back to your Queen of Rods confidence, right? You're feeling this, you want to be this, you know, you don't just want this to be a false feeling. You want it to be this. So the tarot is giving you two pieces of information. Look for a friend or some kind of support in some way, and it might not even be a person. Maybe it's something you learn. Maybe it's something, you know, that you can create, you know, depending on what situation you're asking about. Here's the next piece of advice. Don't jump in just because you're excited. You need to think about it. Our Knight of Swords is very capable, you know, very excited to do things, like I said, but often doesn't think of the consequences, doesn't have a step 2 to their plan. They've got step 1, excitement, yeah, and then step 2, I don't know what's going on, you see, and then it falls flat. So right now, honey, the answer to your question, whatever it is, yes or a no, I think we're looking at a no right now. It is currently a no, but I think it's in a state of flux. I think we're moving toward a yes. If this advice or something similar to this is applicable to your situation and you apply it, we're going to come out ahead of our Queen of Wands woman, right? We want to be that. Now, don't let gender fool you. It's gender neutral. She's obviously a girl in this card, and usually our queens have a little bit stronger feminine energy running through them, but that can be a man as well. Let's get one more. We want to get our outcome card. Let's see what we can get from this. This is the cut card, so this is the middle of the deck. Ready? Go. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is moving to a yes. This is very much moving to a yes. Right now, I don't think it's a yes, but it is moving toward a yes, which is just as good, right? This talks about overcoming obstacles. That's exactly what we said right here. Whoa. So overcoming obstacles, it's, well, clearly like the name implies, it's about being strong. This card is popping up when it tries to tell you that you have talent and strength that you might not even realize. It talks about having patience, and it talks about taking your time. Taking your time. Don't jump in too quickly. Wow, these are all connected. So let's sum it up. It's looking like the answer to your question, whatever it may be, is right now it is a no, but it is evolving. It is actively evolving, and it is evolving to a yes. And we've got two pieces of advice. We might want to look for someone to help us. We need to stay positive and confident, of course, with our Queen of Rods. Remember, we have to stay positive and optimistic. We also might need a friend to help kind of talk it through. We might need to learn something more to help ourselves move forward, something like that. And then this advice is don't jump in too quickly. Don't cut corners. Don't skip steps. Don't jump in before you're ready. So it's a no, but evolving to a yes. Ooh, I love it when the tarot has solid advice too. Ooh, let me know. Does this make sense for you? I hope it does. Please drop a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit subscribe. I never want you to miss out on a video, and I'd love to have you in the family. All right, my friend, thank you for letting me read for you. Pile number 2. All right, pile 2. What is the answer to your yes or no question? Let's see what we can see. Okay, so this card here, this serves as my energy card. So this is the strongest energy that the tarot is picking up on, and it will influence the rest of our spread. So what have we got? We've got our Ace of Swords. Ooh, okay, so your yes or a no question starts off pretty strong. The Ace of Swords talks about finding a new truth. A new truth. Now, I don't know what your question is about. If it's romance, if it's work, if it's, regular everyday life stuff, I'm not sure. But this talks about finding out the truth, and it talks about finding out the truth by using your voice. If you're kind of trying to think to yourself, truth about what? Well, there's more that you need to know. There is more information that you have not either received yet or you haven't thought about yet. And that truth is going to reveal itself, and likely through conversation of some kind. Doesn't have to be communication, but that's popping up pretty strong for me. But either way, it is definitely some kind of new truth that's going to influence, this scenario that you're asking about, right? Okay, so what have we got? We started off with our 3 of Pentacles. Pentacles is the suit of everyday life. So this is, again, work, home, school, health, all those things that are in your daily life. This talks about success based off of your daily life. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't know what your question is, but I'm feeling like it's probably not as likely to be romantically inclined or a romantic question. If it is a romantic question, we're going to think about our pentacles in terms of spending time together as opposed to talking about emotions, okay? Other than that, I'm feeling more like it's about something about work, your daily life, your interactions with other people, your health, your school. That's kind of where it's looking. That's the strongest energy with pentacles here on either side. We've got pentacles here, we've got pentacles here, and it's sandwiching our swords. And here's our swords again. Truth, communication, yeah. So here's our everyday life. If it is romance, again, like I said, it talks about time. Does that make sense? All right. I just want to be able to tell you, in case your question is something different. It's hard because I don't know what your question is. So anyway, we've got our 3 of, oh, fuck, that was terrible. Pile number 2. All right, pile 2. What is the answer to your yes or a no question? We want to see a yes or a no, and we'd like some advice. Okay, let's see what we've got. All right, this card here serves as my energy card. This is the strongest energy that the tarot is picking up on, and it will influence the meaning of the rest of our spread. So what have we got? We've got Ace of Swords. Aces are always about something new coming in. They're new starts, new beginnings, new seeds. Being swords, this is kind of about thoughts and ideas. It's about truth and communication. So something very much is coming in. Have you had a new idea lately? Is this what you're asking about? You've got your new idea in your head. Are you asking about if somebody else is going to communicate with you? If so, this is looking already like a big yes, okay? Whatever you're thinking about, whatever your new thought, perhaps waiting for conversation. And it can also involve truth. If you're just wanting to know what's the truth about whatever it is you're asking, this would say you're going to get some truth right now. This is looking like a yes so far. So let's see what else we've got. Now we've got pentacles here and we've got pentacles here. We have swords in the middle. Remember, this is also swords. When it ends up with them on either side, I always call this a sandwich. This is our sandwich. We are sandwiching in some swords. So in order to, get to that moment of truth, clarity, and all those things. We need to focus a little bit on our everyday life. What's going on first here with our three? Three of Pentacles is everyday life. Again, that's time, money, energy, that you're expending to do something in your everyday life, home, career, school, health, that kind of a thing, right? This is talking about success. This is typically something like you are proud of. This is something you've been working on in terms of your everyday life so that you've had some results that were positive. This is asking you to remember that the things you've learned, you need to keep them close. You need to keep them close to you. This is the Four of Pentacles, and this is all about holding it in. Look at our crow here holding these pentacles. Now remember, the cards, the artwork are all about symbolism. So what would that symbolize? Holding it close, right? Remember what you've done to this point. Remember the successes you've had. Remember the lessons you've already learned by what you've already done, right? Now this, the one in the sandwich, this is telling you this everyday life stuff is how you're going to beat this. What do you have to beat? Well, it's a Knight of Swords. A Knight of Swords is not at all bad, but our Knight of Swords is often jumping in way too excited, way too quickly, really running with an idea. You might be thinking you know the answer to this and you're just looking for a tarot reading to confirm. Well, this is saying not so fast there. If you're thinking the answer is no, I'm here to tell you there's more to learn and that it's likely a yes. Now, if you were already thinking it might be a yes, this is telling you don't run away with the yes just yet. Either way, we've got our sandwich and we need to hold on to what we're doing. We need to take our lessons from before, what we've learned to this point, and we need to hold those close and pay close attention to those lessons. We can't jump in too quickly. Remember, this is somebody who's very excited. But this is also talking about a new beginning and a knight running in with truth, with new ideas, with more communication. So overall, we're looking at some really positive cards here. Let's take a look at our outcome. This is the cut card. So this is the middle of the deck, and this will represent the energy of the outcome. Ready? Go. Oh boy, all right, we have got the Fool. This is talking about taking those first steps and a new journey. It's talking about new things opening up. Your answer, my friend, to your yes or a no question is a yes. This is a yes for sure. Again, this card it's a big yes for sure, but it has a little bit of an element of a warning, meaning don't make hasty choices. Well, what did we say about our Knight of Swords running in, maybe not knowing all the information, maybe just overexcited? This is saying don't make hasty choices. Don't run in too excited. That's twice we're hearing that. So that's coming through very strong. So let's just recap. I think the answer is a yes. You're going to be getting some new thoughts, new ideas, a new truth, new communication, or you've just recently gotten that, and that's what sparked your question. We're talking about making sure your lessons from everyday life are held close and that you're following your true standards for yourself, your true boundaries. You're following and remembering your lessons. You're not going to run in too quickly. Communication seems to be coming in fast. And here's the Fool. It is going to end well. You're going to be able to take those new steps as long as you are not making hasty choices and jumping in too quickly, like our Knight of Swords. Ooh, pile 2. What does that sound like? Drop a comment. I would love to know what you're thinking. And of course, make sure you hit subscribe. I'd love for you to be in the Modern Priscilla Tarot family, and I never want you to miss out on a video. All right, my friend, thank you so much for letting me read for you. Pile number 3. All right, pile 3. Let's find out what's going on for you. We need a yes or a no for you. Okay. All right. So, this here is our energy card. This is the strongest energy that the tarot is picking up on, and it will influence the rest of our spread. So what have we got? We've got our 7 of Cups, and this talks about not being able to kind of see what to do. Clearly, you're asking a yes or a no question. So that's kind of obvious, but the card is confirming that this is kind of a decision point for you. There are lots of choices. There are lots of things going on. It sounds like if you're only thinking of a black and white yes or a no answer, there might be a lot of other choices in between. So it may not be black or white. It might be in a gray area of what you might be thinking is your choice. Does that make sense? So lots of options open to you. All right, so what else have we got? We've got a lot of cups going on here. We've got cups, cups, cups. So I am going to ask you, now I don't know what your question is, but I'm wondering if this has something to do with romance. If it does, then that makes a lot of sense. If it doesn't have something to do with romance, it very clearly has something to do with feelings, wanting to feel good about something, wanting to feel connected about something. Could be family, could be friends. If it's romance, obviously, you know what that means. It could be the person that you're thinking about. There are lots of facets, though. There's a lot of things going on. Somebody here is feeling pretty good, but this is telling us that we need to step back. We need to kind of step back and watch what's happening. We are not wanting to be criticized. We don't want to run in too quickly where somebody who we're not sure about, we're not confident about, is going to tell us something we don't like to hear, right? I'm really getting the feeling this is a romance question, and at the very least, a connection, you know, of some kind, family, friends, you know, could even be coworkers. If you're feeling, you know, obviously that affects your feelings. So, you know, you don't love your coworker. That's not what I mean. But, you know, your feelings are included. And this says you don't want to be criticized. You don't want to feel like you're being criticized about things. I can't even think of another word besides criticized, but that's very much coming through. You don't want to be criticized. You may be feeling like you're afraid to act on something. Not sure, but we're definitely wanting to see a yes or a no. We're finding out a little bit more about what might be going on with you. Let's see if we can get some answers here. We've got our 10 of Cups. Again, romance. The 10, this is the ultimate feeling of personal satisfaction, of happiness, of love, of the feel goods, you know, all of that. So this is where we are going. This is what we are hoping for. This is where we are moving. But we're sitting back because we're not sure that how this is going to happen, because perhaps there are so many choices. Or maybe not choices, but so many ways to go about doing something, right? We've got our high priestess. Our high priestess here is telling you that you need to go ahead and, you know, choose your path. Choose your path. Things, you know, you can't make too many mistakes no matter what you choose. Remember, there are choices here. You're not going to make a whole bunch of mistakes. You're hesitant to go out there because there are so many choices, but this is saying, you know what to do. And even if you choose something and take the path that is not quite the right one for you, you'll be able to recuperate fast and readjust and get back on the right track. So this is telling you that you are needing to trust yourself, trust your intuition. I'm getting the real impression that you are really confused. I mean, this is more than just yes or a no. This is like feeling like it's upsetting you. You know, you don't obviously, you don't want to make the wrong decision. Nobody does, but that's really on your mind. You're having a hard time choosing, hence why you're asking the question. But we've got these great cards here saying that things are looking good. They're moving in the right direction. You can trust your intuition. The phases of the moon, I always think of that with the high priestess, because the moon is always moving. It's always rotating. And it's always there. Do you go to bed at night thinking the moon isn't going to be there? No, you don't. The reason the moon is so important with this card is because it represents the cycles of life keep moving. Do you see? So when we make decisions, that doesn't mean that, you know what, now chapters are closed, now doors are closed. Even when it feels like a door is closed, there are other things that we can be doing. There is never a time where we don't have choices. Does that make sense? Let's take a look at our outcome card and see if we can get a firm yes or a no. I am leaning toward a yes right now, but we need a little more. Let us see what's on our cut card. This is the outcome of the energy. Ready? Go. Judgment. Okay, yes. Your answer is a yes. Your answer is a yes. Based on everything we just discussed, our judgment card says you are going to be able to make a decision. This is a moment of kind of where you're saying, I am just going to pick myself up. I am not going to worry about what can't be fixed. I am going to focus on what I can do. I am not just going to try to please others, you know, that kind of a thing. I am looking for that rebirth moment, and this is what you're going to get. So your choice, when you make that choice, yes or no, it's going to make you feel so much better, like a weight has been lifted off of you. You need to remember that there are lots of facets to things and lots of ways to do things. And you should trust in your emotion or your decisions and your instincts. You know a lot. Don't be so worried about people criticizing you. Don't be afraid to act because you feel like, what happens if I'm wrong? You've got your 10 of Cups here telling you where you're moving toward. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel better when you make a decision. And honey, the cards are saying yes right now. That is exactly what I'm seeing. We're seeing a yes. Ooh, does this make sense? What are you thinking? Does this resonate with you? Drop a comment. I would love to hear what you're thinking. I love to interact with everyone. Also, please make sure you hit subscribe. I'd love you to be in the family, and I never want you to miss out on a video. All right, friend, thank you so much for letting me read for you.